Ulfalas looked down into the darkness. His stomach shifted as his horse stumbled on loose stone, the thought of falling into the unknown making him snatch at his reins. He let out a long breath when they reached the far side, the sharp rush of fear receding as quickly as it had appeared. They rode into a series of barren foothills, eventually cresting another slope to find Dag silently waiting for them. Ulfalas and his king drew level with the huntsmen and pulled their mounts to a standstill at the sight before them. A flat plain unfolded into the distance, the tips of mountains jagged on the horizon. Just below the travellers lay their destination, a great crater, as if Elyon the Maker had punched a fist into the fabric of the earth, barren of life and no breeze or sound of wildlife to disturb it. "The Starstone Crater," Jael whispered. Ulfalas had thought it more tale than truth, the rumoured site of the Starstone that had fallen from the sky. How many thousands of years ago was it supposed to have crashed to the earth? And from it, the 7 treasures were said to have been forged, over which past wars had changed the face of the Banished Lands, not least of all here, where the stories told how Elyon's scourging had broken the land, scorching it black. Ulfalas stared up at the sky, slate-grey and swollen with clouds, and imagined for a moment that they were filled with the white-feathered Ben Elim and Asroth's demon horde. He could almost hear their battle cries echoing about him, hear the clash of weapons, the death screams. Elyon and Asroth, Maker and Destroyer, their angels and demons fighting for supremacy over these banished lands. I thought it all a fairy tale, and now I am told it is happening again. Riding through these lands now, Ulfalas found himself believing what, only a year ago, he had thought to be bedtime stories for bairns. He thought of the time he had spent at Haldis, the burial ground of the Hunan giants hidden deep in Fawn Forest. He had witnessed a king betrayed and slain over a black axe, said to be one of the 7 treasures carved from the Starstone. He had seen white worms and earth magic where solid ground turned into a swamp, suffocating the life from his sword brothers. He was a man of action, of deeds. Monsters made real were not something he'd found easy to accept. Fear churned in his gut at just the memory of it. Fear keeps you sharp. Further down the slope and built on the lip of the crater was the carcass of an ancient fortress, walls and towers broken and crumbling. Figures moved amongst the ruins, mere pinpricks in the distance. "The Jotun," said Jael. "The giants of the north, rumoured to be strongest and fiercest of the surviving giant clans." Not for the first time, Ulfalas questioned the wisdom of this journey. "No sudden movements," Dag said, "and keep your wits about you." Some of the Jotun's number filtered out of the ruins, gathering on the road that cut through the derelict walls, their spear tips and mail catching the sinking sun. A handful were mounted on shaggy, lumbering creatures. "Are they riding bears?" Ulfalas asked. "We've all heard the tales of the Jotun in the north," Jael said. "It would appear some of those tales, at least, are true." They stopped at the first remains of a wall, the column of riders behind them rippling to a halt. Warriors spread from the path, curling about Jael like a protective hand. 10 score of Jael's best shieldmen. Ulfalas could feel the tension amongst them, saw the way hands gripped spear shafts and sword hilts. Giants appeared from the ruins, moving with surprising grace despite their bulk. Some sat on the path ahead of them upon the backs of dark-furred and yellow-clawed bears. Ulfalas knew Jael was right to be wary. They'd seen firsthand at the Battle of Haldis how deadly an attacking force of giants could be. If it hadn't been for the men of Tenebral forming their wall of shields and stopping the Hunan giants' attack that had been tearing the warbands of Isiltir and Helveth apart, then Ulfalas knew none of them would be here today. Too late to learn the shield wall now, but I swear if I make it home. One of the bear riders moved ahead of the others.